Lies.
Opinion.
Truth.
And substance. Only thing that can make sure we're real and look at them skills to be honest.
Right. My real son, he tortured some folks.
Hi, welcome to L.O.T.S.
I'm Johnny Q.
And I'm Kama, aka Fire, and L.O.T stands for
Lies.
Opinion,
Truth.
and Substance. We are powered through Status Network, and you can watch us on Global Vision TV. How was your week, Johnny Q?
Interesting.
Oh,
And yours?
Very sad.
Very sad.
One of my topics today.
One of the topics today.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Very sad.
Oh, that explains it. That explains a little.
Suicide.
Suicide. Wow. Is it someone I know?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's just been happening a lot in the black community. Because we always, when we hear people suicide, we really don't think our people.
Right.
We think Caucasians, other people, Wall Street, you lose your money, you jump off the roof.
True.
All that. You never think black people going to actually commit suicide.
Yes.
You understand?
So, but you have a lot of people who commit suicide now in an indirect way. So is that all? Is that also a form of suicide? I mean,
well, to me, suicide could be like having sex without a condom. You're suiciding your body. You could catch all type of things and end up dead. So that's a different form of suicide if that's what you really meant, like sideline, like.
Well, yeah, that is a. I mean, well, in that case, in my younger years, I'm absolute guilty.
Yeah, of course, we all did.
Yes.
We all had sex without condoms, if that form of suicide. But I mean the one where you really take the pills or cut your wrists, or you really jump off a goddamn fucking building.
Wow.
Like, what balls, kahuna, does it take for you to take your life out?
I do believe that goes in with the mentality of thoughts. Actually, the guest that we have here today, Tone, we was just having this discussion over the weekend.
Suicide?
Yes, I mean, we was talking about all types of things, but just things that makes people, just get to that edge, get to that point, don't know if it's something spiritual, if it's something mental, because now, you're hearing the word more mental health thrown around.
Right.
But like I stated before, people have to really find out, is it mental or is it spiritual or is it both? And then I still believe one topples the other, because you can work on mental health all day long. It's been a proven fact that when people try to make a mental health, just a psychological standpoint, that certain people, not all, but certain people still end up losing it down the road. And it's like, well, wow, we just worked on this for years or months. So what happened? It's like saying, oh man, we was doing good with this person, for so long, and then all of a sudden, boom, snap. So is it spiritual or is it just mental health?
Right.
So tell us about your.
Well, her kids used to tell me about her, like I just feel her life went downhill when she lost her mom, and then she caught a stroke. And when you catch a stroke, your face slightly,
right.
It twists.
True.
And all the time growing up together from my 20s till now, she's always been that fly chick. So I think it depressed her to look in the mirror to see her mouth twisted. Her husband cheated on her. Her mother died. Like, over the years, all these things build up.
Right.
Like a volcano, and then it goddamn erupts.
Right.
And it was sad because her kids found her on the floor just dead. Nobody, she's tried to kill herself before.
Okay.
Well, that's what they have said. She told me that's not so. But I don't think nobody really wants to tell their friend that that's what I really tried to do, especially if you survived.
Right.
I know you woke up pissed, like, what the fuck? I didn't die? I survived?
Right.
Yeah, maybe because you're supposed to be here. You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying? Maybe you're supposed to be here. That's why it didn't work. But the second time, it looked like it worked.
Well,
And then she had lost her boyfriend after the husband. He got shot through the window by accident. Like a stray bullet took him out. Like I'm just looking at all the stuff that's piling up in her life to make her maybe want to end her life.
Right, one after another.
One after another. And then the first suicide attempt, quote, she was in the hospital. I went to visit her, and I didn't make it any better.
Wow.
She stopped talking to me when she came out the hospital.
So when was
for
your
2
last,
months?
So when was the actual last conversation?
She's dead now.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, we didn't talk before she died.
That's what I'm saying. Prior to the 2 months.
When I visit her in the hospital, maybe a week after that, she talked to me. And after that, she went cold turkey. Wouldn't answer my calls, wouldn't do anything. And I just couldn't figure it out. Like, I killed myself to come through to visit you after you tried to kill yourself. And then you just went cold turkey on me. And I didn't understand why. And then she came forward and told me why. She said, because when you came to visit me, you looked amazing. You look sexy. You look everything that we were supposed to be together. And look at me in a bed with tubes, my mouth twisted, gain all this weight. Right. I'm just not that fly chick anymore, and you're still fly. And that was depressing for her to see me like this. And I was so shocked, but I liked the honesty. But then this week now, something just happened this week. One of my homegirls tried to kill herself. I just came from the hospital.
So this is another one?
This is another one. So this is what I'm saying. People around me are just trying to kill themselves. Not just around me, but in life general.
In life general.
Like, lights out.
So let me ask you, from what I first stated, are we now at more, do you know or do you feel we're more at a mental health aspect or spiritual?
I don't think it's spiritual. I think it's mental. Because you know me and the spiritual is a whole different ball game. But that mental, definitely. Have I ever thought of taking my lights out? Not really. But when you get your heart broken, that hurt, that first initial heartbreak, you might feel like you're going to die. But everybody be like, you're going to be all right. You're going to have another man. You know? But that first initial hurt, you be like, God, I'm going to die.
That's true.
It's heartache. Oh, God. That first heartache be rough. You know? But that suicide wasn't really supposed to be our topic today. I just had to bring it up because it's something I'm going through. But the real topics are how much freedom should you give your kids?
And what is marriage to you?
And we're going to get your friend intertwined with these topics here.
Yes, we are. And actually,
yes.
You have to click. Yes. All right, so we're about to...
We're about to talk about topics, which are what you just seen, marriage, and our topic of the day is just life.
Right.
So how much freedom should you give your kids?
Okay, and now I'm about to introduce y'all a good friend of mine, Mr. Tone, one of the master barbers over at Pro Cuts ATL, and let's get him in. How you doing there, Mr. Tone?
Hey, Tone.
Hey.
You can put the mic to your mouth. Can we?
All right, brother. All right.
Looking dapper down over there.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. I think.
How much freedom should you have any kids?
I do.
How many?
I have 4.
Wow.
Yeah,
How much freedom did you give your kids?
You have to look at that word freedom.
Okay.
If it says in the good book that my brother subscribed by, right? If you train a child up, I don't know the rest of that verse because I'm a spiritual being. Then why should you feel like, why shouldn't you give them freedom, right? If you brought them up in a certain type of way, then they should follow your commandments or follow the way that you brought them up.
Well, that is one of the...
Okay.
No, go ahead and finish.
Yeah, so then on the flip side of that, if you don't give them freedom and try to hold them hostage, then they're going to keep going out.
Yeah.
So if you try to hold them hostage, then particularly they're going to do what it is that they want to do, right?
True.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. So freedom for me is, hey, I can give you all the knowledge that I can give you freedom to do, because we all have freedom.
Right.
You're free to do whatever you want to do.
True.
But also consequences behind those freedom.
Right.
There's an equal and opposite to reaction to everything that you do.
Right. So let me ask you this: would you? How do I want to put this? I think when people are really asking how much freedom should you give the child, and which you did clearly explain, as we know from the good book, train a child on how it should go, and it shall not depart. And that doesn't mean it won't stumble along the way. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean it's not going to go hang around the bad crowd, as what the parents, once told us, hey, don't be over there with that group ain't that. It doesn't mean that. It just means once it gets in one of those tight situations, it will go back to thought on how it was raised.
Right.
I totally agree. They're going to reflect back to what you taught them, because one thing I've learned from experience, you can't handcuff anybody. Right?
Amen.
That's you have to let them fly.
Got to.
Right. Hey, I've given you this knowledge. I've given you all the game that I can give you. Now it's time for you to go fly. Either you're going to fly or you're gonna fall. Now, when you come to a fork in the crossroads, then you revert back to everything that either you're gonna revert back to what your parents gave you,
right,
or you're gonna do what you feel is right.
True indeed. Now,
that's that fork in the road.
Now, let me ask you about you being a parent. If your child, I want to kind of give a scenario here.
Okay.
You train your child up. You taught your child finances. It's your first time. It's the first time your child is out on his own. Do you? Okay, let's make it a little harder. You know your child got paid. You know exactly what your child make a month throughout the whole month.
Sure.
Your child calls you and say, "Dad, I'm $400 short on my rent and $100 short on my insurance." But you know exactly what this child's make. What do you do as the parent?
Good thing you asked that, because I'm going through this right now.
Oh, wow.
With my youngest son.
Okay.
How old is he?
17.
Okay.
He's 11.
Okay.
Not gonna put him on blast.
Yeah.
But you know how much
Right.
I told you he's squandered over within a year, right?
Right.
So if he calls me and says what you just said, I'm gonna have to show him some tough love.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna have to, because I've told him, hey, you know the difference between liabilities and assets. You know the difference between wants and needs.
Right.
You know that, right? I expect you to do those things when you're young, but now that you're out in the real world, where you have to pay your own bills, and you're still doing that, that you're doing it because you want to.
Right.
So, figure it out.
Now, how does the mom feel about that same situation?
Well, you know, moms they're caregivers by nature.
True.
So, you know, mom 10 times out of 10 is gonna bail him out, or bail whoever. Not speaking per se on my son,
right?
But the mom is gonna bail him out because again, they're caregivers by nature. They're nurturers, so they're gonna bail him out regardless. Some moms.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Sure. So, Cam,
Well,
and for you,
well, freedom got me pregnant. Joe. Freedom got me pregnant. I was trained very well. I was trained very well, but like he said, I came to that fork in the road, and I chose sex without protection.
Without protection.
And I got pregnant.
Made your bed. Now you got
Okay, and I laid in it.
There you go.
You know, so that's what freedom did for me. But as far as my son, I gave him all the freedom in the world. I never tell him he couldn't do anything. He ain't got one child yet. You see that? I gave him all the freedom because guess what? I trained him right.
You trained him right.
You trained him right, and you know what? He also, speaking on my experience, he probably saw what it was that you went through, or what some other family member went through, or just people in general around him went through. So they were like, you know what? I don't think I would.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not trying to take away from training, because you did train him.
No, because my mother helped me raise him.
There you go.
My mother helped me raise him, so he loved his grandmother too. So she trained him good too. So I give most of the credit to her because I was younger and I wanted to go to college and I wanted to do stuff. So she helped me raise him, you know. So and he is older now in his 20s and don't have no babies. I want a grandchild, but you know he's like,
You want
So do you want him to be married, or do you just want a grandchild?
I'm being selfish. I just want a grandchild, but I know the right way is to go get married and settle down and have a house. But
get married. That's the right way.
well, that's what people in the world. That's what people say. To me, it's not. To me, I don't care.
Look,
me and him bump heads all the time.
Look.
We bump heads
This
all the
my
time.
dog, man. And
Yeah.
whenever we in the barbershop, we just had, what was it, like a couple days ago?
Yeah,
Saturday. We had a 2-3 hour
Session
up in there.
talking about stuff.
Yeah.
Me and him bump heads all the
Agree
time.
to disagree, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it never gets personal because that's my homie. You know what I mean? We
Right.
all have a difference of opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, see, you know, the one thing here about marriage, and I do believe after the studying that I've done.
What did you study? Please tell us what you studied.
I studied people. You know.
I thought you was going to say that Bible.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I definitely studied that.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. But I mean, I do understand why it's in the word. Why it does say you should be married, because God already knew how difficult it was going to be for two parents to co-parent. People still to this day are not co-parenting correctly, because one side could have a flaw for 1 month or 3 months, or I'm going to say 1 year.
What you mean a flaw?
Any flaw. It doesn't matter whether he or she wasn't on time to pick up the child for Saturday.
Those type of flaws. Okay. You didn't bring that support check on
right.
time. You didn't buy him that sneakers.
Right.
Okay.
Or guess what? She didn't do it. Hey, she ain't cooked a meal. She ain't spent no quality time
with her child.
He telling the father this, but yet, you know, it's all different types of things could go on between co-parenting. And when I do believe that co-parenting can be a lot smoother, it's still not.
Okay.
You know, because sometimes people be in their feelings still with each other, don't want to see the other one happen. That plays certain
That's
parts.
what I was trying to figure out, because we're talking about marriage, but you went to co-parenting. So the co-parent is the people that broke up from the marriage?
Yes.
Or the people that are still married?
I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen people who stayed together under one roof, but separated.
Okay.
You know, I mean, seriously.
And they still have to co-parent that way?
Yeah, because neither one wants to leave the household. You know, they claim they're still there for the child.
Okay.
See, I've seen it, and my eyes have seen that.
Or maybe they're trying to do what you love to say: fix the marriage. Don't get a
because
divorce.
if you, that's a.
Let me interject.
Uh-huh.
So,
yes.
do you have to be married in order to be good parents or good co-parenting?
No.
But
I'm with you on that.
No, but it does help.
Why? Why does it help?
Oh, why does it?
Why does it help?
It helps because the mother and the father, who are the overseers, they're up under the same roof. And that means that this child has already been trained. Don't go out. You have no reason to go outside of this roof for anything, because the mother and the father is there. He sees the father. He has learned all the protocols and what he needs from the father, if the father been doing his job.
Yeah.
He has learned the nurturement of his mother. He see how his mother interact with
his
the father.
Gotcha.
He ain't got to look. He or she ain't got to look outside the household for nothing.
But they could be just shacking up and not married, and he could still see that good example of a good father and mother.
Listen, I'm not saying everybody rush to the altar
Right.
because of a swole belly.
Right.
What I am saying, I think every person in the world need to start making better preparations to, if you believe this the lady believe this the man, that, you know, they should really consider getting married.
Wonderful, Barbara. What do you feel about marriage?
You already know my take on marriage.
He knows, but I don't.
All right. So, the traditional way of being married, because whenever you talk about marriage, it like, and this is my opinion on it.
Yes.
It's a contract, right?
Right.
Every woman wants to feel some type of security,
Right.
So, if I'm married or not. I can do the same thing
Right.
I can do when I'm married versus with me not being married. I can cheat.
Yep.
I can stay out all night, whether
Right.
we're married or not. If I give you my last name, are you gonna? Like, I remember asked this girl this is a long time ago, long time ago. If I marry you, are you gonna love me more because I married you?
Right. Good
Right?
points.
Or are you gonna love me for me?
Right.
So if you give me, besides the norm, right? Give me a good answer on why we should get married, and I'll marry you. I mean,
Right.
this was a long time ago, maybe about 30 years ago. If you give me a good point on why we should get married,
Right.
then, of course, I'll think about it.
Right.
Other than that, hey, my queen, no, we've been together almost 20 years. We're not legally married.
But what is it called when you've been together over 10 years?
Common law.
Common law marriage.
But if something happens to me, I have 2 insurance policies.
Good.
One for the kids and one for her.
Good.
Right?
That is excellent.
Marriage, to me, marriage is, I never thought about, after that, I never thought about getting married because when you look in the media, and even just people that I know, right? Family members, they get married, they have kids, they accumulate some type of assets, right? So now they realize, this marriage is not working. I want to go another way. So now you have to get the courts involved.
Right.
So you're gonna, a judge is gonna tell me
Right.
that I can, something that I help procreate or create, that I can see my kids twice a week.
Right.
Twice a month, every other weekend.
Right.
No, I'm not cool with it.
Right.
And that's just always been my thought process. If you want to say we're married, then we're married. If you want to go down and change your last name to my last name, which is not really my last
I keep
name.
forgetting people can do that. Change your name.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Legally can change your name.
Yeah, you can. Take you through
Without marriage.
hoops. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to agree with the statement he made. If you know, well, hold on, let me say it this way. If you feel better not saying the words up under God, as far as taking those commandments that he gave both couples and really don't understand them, then I'm going to agree with what you said. I mean, really, that's the protocol I think people should go in place, even though God still kind of blocked it, from the word, But if you're not going to go by all those commandments and protocol, then I'm definitely going to agree that I think that would be a good way to handle it.
I like
2
his
questions.
points. I like your
1,
points.
what did he block? And 2, was God married?
I love it. I love him.
God is married. God is married. God is married to the people. We are
His marriage?
we are his brides.
Okay.
That's the way he speaks of us.
Okay.
Like his church. We're his brides.
Okay.
Because we're made from his image.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that.
The second thing, what God blocked is because in the word, it does call it, God call it a marriage when 2 has given just each other the word before going up under the acknowledgement and getting ordained for marriage from God. So before basically taking God's oath, the 2 just came together, and that's why it's called still fornication. But that's why God say you can separate. When people was looking at the word, when it was saying you can separate, it was saying you can separate up under fornication. People took that same meaning thinking fornication is the same thing as adultery, and it's not. It's 2 different things. So God allow you to separate. Yeah, God allow you to separate under fornication.
Okay.
He don't allow you to separate up under adultery. Once you in it, it's like blood in, blood out.
Question. So you've got these 2 people, right?
Yeah.
Hypothetically, right? You got a man and a woman. They live next door to you, right? Man, beating on them, just disrespecting her all kinds of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So you meaning to tell me God want her to stay in that
Thank
marriage?
you. Oh my God. Somebody is with me.
No, because God never said that. God actually gives the woman and the male permission to separate in marriage.
In marriage.
But notice the key word is called separate. You still can't divorce him.
Okay.
And he can't divorce her.
Okay. So if they separate and then they've been separated for maybe
A year.
hypothetically, a year,
Yeah.
right? And she moves on, he moves on. Isn't that called adultery?
It is.
Okay.
So will God punish her?
Yes.
for that?
That's what he's saying.
That's
what he
because it's
always
something
says.
else. It's something else to go with that. Not only her, he gonna get him.
Yeah, he's gonna punish both. Right?
Yeah, because he tell both. It's also in the word when you separate. He tell the couple steadfast. Steadfast mean be still.
Be still. Yeah.
That man is still obligated to take care of that woman. Like
Gotcha.
Well, I'm sorry.
it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter because she had to separate from him being so violent.
Mm-hmm.
That household she in, he still got to pay for that. Where them kids reside, he still got to take care of all of that.
Okay.
So that's why God tell both couples steadfast, and the reason God says steadfast to both couples, which I know people ask, is because He's finna work on both of y'all.
Okay.
You know, it's like the old saying, you know, like when we was coming up, when grandparents, you might hear grandparents from back then, they be like, they may tell the child who may be your parent, or they may be talking to one of their peers, and they be like, hey, sometimes you just got to know how to stay out of God's business. So the husband or the wife who may still want to intervene and put their 2 or 3 cents in, they got to remember, you got to stay out of God's business right here.
And let him work.
Because he going to work on this man. And you got to stay steadfast because he going to work on you how to forgive this man for all those ways he just did.
Whatever.
Okay. Question.
No.
Mm-hmm.
They got this word that's called change, right?
Right.
Change is good.
Uh-huh.
Some individuals want to change.
Right.
Some don't want to change, and some don't know how to change, right? So, if you take those individuals that don't want to change, and we know plenty of them coming from where we come from, right?
Right.
If God been working on them for so many years, right?
Right.
And their mindset hasn't changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
First, you have to go to the Creator first, and once you go to the Creator, then you have to change this. If this doesn't change, nothing changes.
Right.
You know they say if nothing changes, right?
True.
So, if God has been working on this individual 3 years, and they haven't changed, because at some point, an individual gets it, and some don't get it. It took me a long time to get it and to realize, and whenever I speak, I'm speaking from experience.
Okay.
It took me a long time to get it and say, hey man, you know what? Been doing this for 10 years and it ain't working.
Right.
Now, let me try something different. And just maybe, it may change. I can't say that I woke up one morning and God put it on my mind to change it. I don't know who did it or what happened. Only thing I'm saying is some people change and some people don't. So if there's no change, if they've been separated for 5, 6, 7 years, should that male or that female continue to wait on God to work on them?
No.
And then go back to that same toxic
No.
relationship?
And this is what I tell him all the time. You know what I tell him? I understand the word, the Bible, all this stuff when you get married, right? So you telling me I'm supposed to stay with someone, even if it's not toxic. I just fell out of love. I don't even look at you the same. I don't even want to have sex with you anymore. I'm supposed to suffer in this marriage? Just because God said steadfast, separate. No! The Lord is thinking about olden times. Times have changed, Lord. People have changed, Lord. This is not back in the olden days. This is a new modern day. This is a new time. This is new time. We listening to the old book for new times. I don't like it. I don't like it. We have to follow these old rules for new situations. I'm supposed to stay with you because I'm married to you, and 10 years go by and I fell out of love. Both of us did. So we just supposed to stay together and steadfast and all these things that you say. Okay. No, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
I divorced my husband.
I kind of agree with on that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hold on, and just before we go any further, people who may want to call in is 470-251-4707. That's 470-251-4707. You're allowed to call in and chime in on the conversation that we're having.
Yeah, call in, because I'm not staying in no marriage if I'm not happy.
Now,
hold on.
Okay.
Before you say my dissertation, I'm not knocking, and I always tell Cubans, I don't knock anyone's religion.
Right.
Whatever it is that you believe in,
yes.
If it makes you a better being,
right,
I'm all for it. I just love to have conversations, and I love to have discuss topics that can stimulate. You know what I mean? Right. Like I love to have topics with all different type of people from all different walks of life. I'm not knocking anyone's religion. I just want to say that because I don't want nobody to say, "Well, why is he?" No, that's not what I'm doing. Okay. We're just having a conversation. That's it.
About marriage.
About marriage and about life.
Well, you know what? I was bringing up, to help y'all out a little bit better today.
What? Help us out with what?
And she's glad she got a partner who she dialoguing with Tone. She done chose her side, so now I gotta, it's 2 against 1. But that's how God like it. It's okay. I'm David, they Goliath right now. But give me a little time. We're gonna work on them. But see, I was also bringing up the situation with Master P today, and Master P has decided to file. He's sending in a petition to the judge to where he wants to be called single because they've been apart for 10 years.
You telling me.
So it's not a divorce. It's just a title.
Well, this is what it is. He want to ask to be granted the divorce, but he also want the judge to put single on there. Now what?
Why? What?
I haven't really learned yet.
Okay.
So I'm telling the people now. I haven't learned why he want the single step.
Right.
I'm just gonna take a wild guess.
Tell me what your wild guess is.
My wild guess is no. I'm just saying the wild. Excuse me, Joe.
Could be fine.
Oh, okay. So she won't benefit.
Yeah.
Because she hasn't been in the last 10. Right.
So if he's out lollygagging and doing whatever he's doing,
she could try to use it against him.
Yes.
Now
because they're not legally
divorced.
Now this is what I want to say here, which is so odd. And she wanted a divorce first back in the day.
Okay.
All right.
He didn't want it.
He said no. All right. He said no. She had already signed. From what I had read beforehand.
Okay.
She had already signed. He said no.
Wow.
All right. She went on a rage. Some people say she was getting high at the time. Listen, I don't know. I'm just telling you what was reported through certain things. They say, she was just having a moment. Had a breakdown. She was just doing, getting high, partying, etc., etc., etc. P got all the kids. P went to another direction and let her work it out. All right. Far as I know, P gave all type of assistance and everything. I'm not for sure as that's true. I'm just telling you things I heard through the media. Now, what I do know for a fact, this time P is saying he ready to go.
If I was her, I'd have been like, no.
She did say no, but I don't know if it's true. I don't know if this part is true. I'm just going to tell you how she said it. She's saying she learned from what she did wrong, and she wants to work it out.
Oh, boy.
Now, people say, well, how can you find favor in that if all those things that were spoken about her are true? And let me tell you why. It's easier for me to say that because she was really there from the beginning.
Okay.
See, she was there from the real beginning.
Okay.
Day one.
Before he sell them things out his trunk.
But hold on, not only that, the idea of what No Limit, allegedly, from certain just small things I've read and heard, No Limit, she came up with the name.
Oh.
When he really wanted to halfway kind of push No Limit, she was like, nah, do this, do that, and put the mold in his back, which P was very, very intelligent, but with his vision, and he saw hers, because they're one, he was like, oh, wow. This just what I heard.
Right.
And P went full throttle. Exactly what she described. Now, this win is growing to be good. It ain't got good yet. It's just growing now.
Yeah.
Now things have went all sour.
Okay.
By one way.
How many years they been together? About what, 20?
No, about 9. I think it was reportedly they actually married in 94, but they had been together ever since like 86.
You gotta look at Romeo.
Yeah.
Wow. She got a couple kids.
Yeah, because they got twins.
Yeah.
They got twins, and then they got another child. So I think they have I think it's maybe 4 or 5.
Okay.
So.
And they're both in their 40s or 50s now, right?
P is 50.
50-ish.
Yeah. He's definitely like 52, 53.
Well, we're going to say 50-ish. And what
Yeah.
about her, 40-ish?
No, they're around the same age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they went to high school together.
Well,
they went through school together.
Woman, get a new start. It's over.
What you mean? Get a new start for what?
Well, get a new start.
See, this is why God says steadfast. See, I noticed you and Tone.
He wants to go.
You and Tone used 2 words.
What's that?
And y'all 2 words were, I don't feel like. God not interested in your feelings. Because
He gave me feelings for a reason.
Exactly.
He gave it to you so you can understand what pain is, what he go through. Dealing with our stubbornness and hard-headedness.
Okay. I feel that.
I'm a prime example of that.
Question.
Yes, sir.
If we are made in the image
Right.
of our Father, right? Then that means whatever we feel, whatever we go through, whatever we do,
He created in us.
He's the same. He's the total, He's our spitting image, correct?
Right.
If I have a sense of humor, that means God's have a sense of humor.
No.
If I'm a little thought, God is being
No.
a thought somehow.
No, that's not
Explain
true.
that
No.
I know.
Explain it. Because if you look at the word,
Created in His image.
created in His
Image.
is it in His of His? Because you have to watch that word.
Right. And the Bible's been rewritten. I keep telling him about this Bible.
Here we go.
I keep telling him about this Bible.
In His image, or is it of His image?
Right.
Now you gotta look at. They gotta. The Bible
Been rewritten a couple times.
Remixed by everybody.
Thank you. That's why I can't do it.
Oh, wow.
So you got to go to the old version, and
Right.
then you got to
The King
Old
James.
Testament and the New Testament, and
I don't mess with that Bible stuff. I don't.
just religion.
In the
grew up
image. It's
in the image, right?
In the image.
So if it says we are created in His image, just like your kids are created in your image, right?
Because we are God.
So that means they are of you, correct?
In the image is still differently.
So they're gonna take on some of the traits that you have, right?
Well, it's just really like a trace.
Okay.
All right, because it's like the phone here. We see the image, and for me to get a phone just like it, I'm just going to mold something else, and I'm just going to trace it down the line. It's just going to be a different color or a different shade, or either the exact color, but it's only in the image. But this is the original.
Yeah, but guess what? It's gonna do the same thing that phone does, right?
Well, this is the thing. Here we go. He created us in His image, and to where it say, "Ye are of gods." it only meant one thing, which we had this discussion Saturday, and that was just knowing good and evil.
Okay.
That was it. That's all that statement means, because it tells you that through the rest of the word. Man knowing the difference between good and evil. That's the only way you became a god. And like I said, you go back to the Garden of Eden, that's what it explained. Once Adam bit of the fruit, the first thing he realized he was naked.
He said good and evil.
Allegedly.
Well, it'll be good.
I mean, well,
It was good. I got a divorce.
That's what the words say. You know,
words say.
as the words say, he realized he was naked. Once he realized he was naked, God say, "Why are you covering ye?" Now, you're covering. You got to realize he been naked this whole time, but he never knew that. Him and Eve, once his mate came, they had been exploring each other the whole time.
That story.
So you telling me once they bit from the forbidden
Nonsense.
Yeah.
tree, the fruit of the tree, or whatever,
Right, tree of knowledge.
the tree of knowledge,
Tree of life. So many
Tree of
words. So many
life.
different
So
words.
once they ate from that tree,
Right.
they gained knowledge and then finally realized that they were naked. So until then, they were walking around dumbfounded.
Yes, that's normal. I don't believe that
Everything was good. There was no such thing as evil,
There
because
is
they
no-
didn't know what evil was. They had never
boy.
came across evil.
It was
Nonsense.
so you got to realize what you just said.
stuff. Yeah, nonsense.
They didn't know that evil existed, but it did exist, right?
It did exist,
Okay, gotcha.
but that's the whole thing. You know, it's like as we use to paraphrase, open up Pandora's box.
Box, gotcha.
Don't open up that box. You know, it's just like people saying going to Hollywood, and then all of a sudden, you know, people have came back as we have grown. Hey, boy, it's weirdos over there. Boy, I'm gonna go over there. And then somebody else go test to what that person just said.
Yeah.
Don't go over to that certain location. They go and they come back and they're like, boy, it's really weirdos over there. And such and such just told you.
Curiosity.
Curiosity. So
Yeah.
this is what Adam did. And once you go over there, you're going to be able to describe all the weirdo things that Buddy just told me and you and everybody else. Then the other person going to do the same thing. Then the other person going to go, they're going to do the same thing. And here it is, the knowledge.
It's a chain reaction.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the only way, that's the
So
only
you
statement.
really believe that story?
Yes, because it is believable. It is believable.
That scenario you just brought up, that's the same thing that went on where we grew up at. When we was growing up, right? You remember when we was young and we used to see cats out there doing their thing. You know, we see them get shot or go to jail, and you know, we see our grandparents or parents be like, "Yo, that ain't what you want to do. You don't need to be out there doing that." What did we do?
Still do it.
Some of us still went and did it.
Out of what?
Out of curiosity. And that's what I'm saying. But we decided, what about those who did see the same thing and didn't go?
They
See, it worked both ways.
Yeah, it does
do.
work both ways.
They do.
I mean, different people have different mindsets, right?
Sure.
Like me, for instance.
It all goes back to training.
For me, what she just said is a little bit true, but I saw, for instance, and I don't knock anybody that's ever done it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never snorted cocaine. I never popped a pill. I never shot none of that. I never did any of that. You know why? Because I saw the effects that it had on people that I love, right? I saw how it made them act, how it made them look, what it did to them physically and mentally. So that was one thing I said, you know what? Nah, I think I'm good on that.
Right.
I don't think I want to try that.
Right.
Like I'm not curious about none of that.
Neither me. I've never been curious about those things.
Just
either.
like what you just said about everybody didn't, you know, because they, again, they probably saw something that made them say, whoa, I don't think that's what I want to do. You know what I mean?
And that's why. But see, when we were speaking of the term of ye are of God's, that's what I mean. Some went and got that knowledge, some didn't. Some just actually believe what they saw.
Yeah.
And you know, the whole thing was Adam and Eve supposed to believe from the beginning, you know, of the word, as what the word pertains to say, that okay, well, God said that, he already told us that's forbidden, don't go do it. But
They did it anyway.
they did it anyway.
Okay.
And that's what we have here today in society.
Right.
You know, it used to be an old saying, the parents would say, what I do, you can't do.
Right.
Now you got parents, you know, they are literally being okay with kids doing the things they do.
Right.
Why though? Because you know,
Yeah,
a child
good
doesn't
thing.
do what you say. A child
Right.
does what you do.
Thank you.
Well,
if-
I don't know.
It's the truth.
Now again,
Oh my, I've seen it live.
That can go back to that verbiage I asked you about in the Bible. Raise
Right.
a child up.
Yes, as
But I will say this: if you have a child living in your home, right, and they come home every day and you getting on them about cleaning their room, right,
right.
and then they go in your room is a tornado. It's like
Right.
a tornado been through that.
Yeah, they're gonna do as you do.
So they're gonna, you're gonna be like, why she asking me to clean my room and her room look like
Right.
Hurricane Andrew just
Right.
went through that.
Right.
It looked like that every day.
Right.
I
Right.
agree. And that's why the example should be set from the parent is
Right.
not your room. You're going to clean this whole house.
Oh God.
See, but I'm saying that because that's what we did as children. You know, our parents were like, no, nigga, you going to clean this whole house.
Yeah,
You know, nigga, you going to get up at 7.
Yeah.
You going to help me clean this.
Yeah, once
And-
you're cleaning with me.
Yeah, but no.
Because my mother used to clean with us.
Right.
My mother wasn't like that. If she said clean, we're cleaning together. She's not just giving a command. I was raised different.
But that's only once you start getting of age. Come see, what
Yeah.
I'm speaking of, like once you get that 13, 12, 14, 15,
Nah, I've
16.
been cleaning from 5, baby. I'm an island child.
No, listen, we were cleaning from the same ages, but what I'm saying is,
Cause you say 13, I'm like,
no, I'm saying once
Why?
you 12, 13, 14, you begin to clean this whole place by
By
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah,
I'm not getting up to do
No, my
nothing.
mother always was. The only time she wasn't cleaning with us is when she was at work.
Right.
But I understand what you say, the image of what you see, because I am my mother in print.
Yeah.
You know how I know? Because my grandmother used to say it. Because she raised my mother. And my mother raised me. And everything that I've seen my mother did from as far as I can remember as 5 years old, I have became that same exact woman.
Yeah.
I've seen my mother been married 3 times. I've been engaged 3 times, married once. It's like I'm reliving my mother's life
your mom's
again
life,
because it's what I've seen. I cook my husband or my spouse breakfast in bed. Why? I've seen my
saw
mother
your mama
cook,
do that.
bring the bread to the bed. I've seen my mother wash clothes, take care of her men so diligently, and I am the exact identical way.
Image, pictures, the
It's
saying,
what you see.
worth 1,000 words.
Right.
Yeah. Going back to what he said about train a child up. And it's just my opinion, right? Nobody, I think once you're conceived and are born into this world or this matrix or whatever
Right,
you want to
thank
call
you.
it,
I call
right?
it the Matrix too.
I think your life is already predestined.
Right.
Now, you can veer off track and go a different route. But with that being said, nobody is prone to life. And I remember Martin Lawrence was talking about when he was running down Hollywood Boulevard saying somebody's trying to kill him.
Right.
And the first thing we did was like, yo, this man is crazy.
Crazy. He lost his apples.
But then Dave Chappelle come back and say, hey, just because, the first thing we do when we don't understand something is, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Or something wrong with him or something wrong with her because we don't understand what they've gone through or what they've been through.
Right.
That's why I always say, like, yo, when we see those guys over there on the corner over near the shop
Right.
doing what they do, right? and we always try to give them some game. I want to know, okay, why are they acting like that?
Right.
Is it the environment that they grew up in? Because sometimes your environment can be stronger than your will to be better than your environment.
Right.
Oh, of
Sometimes
course.
it's the images they see on TV.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, so we have to, you know, that's the first thing I do is say, wow, you know, what's wrong with little dude? Like, why is he acting that way? He's young. I'm not going to place all the blame on him.
Right.
I don't know what environment he came
Right.
up in.
Right.
But what I will say on the flip side of that, not trying to give them an excuse, you got the tip of the world at your hand.
Right.
So you can either choose to use it for some type of knowledge, or you can choose to use it for the foolery.
Yes.
It's up to you.
They use it for the
Anybody
foolery.
can change, you know what I mean?
They use it for the foolery. They love the foolery. Foolery wins, you know?
But
Foolery wins in this society.
It
We're
sells.
living in
Oh, it
this is
definitely-
hell. I
yeah,
tell
yeah.
everybody, we're living in hell. I don't care what he said. We're living in hell.
What is hell?
Hell to me is like, well, okay, we've known
I'm
about
sorry,
Sodom.
what is hell to you?
Well, hell to me is like the Bible say, it's supposed to be fiery and hot. I don't think it's that. I think it's evilness in too much abundance.
Or is it negative energy?
All of that in abundance, because this world is an evil world. It is. It have good people in it,
Yeah.
but there's so many evil stuff too.
Well, I'm going to say that this world wouldn't exist.
Without evil,
It wouldn't.
it wouldn't.
Why not?
No, it wouldn't. Well, you got to look at it like this. A lot of your Fortune 500 companies
Built off of evil.
was built off of debauchery and evil
Yes.
and fucking over people.
Right.
So if we don't have that, because I don't believe in, well, when they say a utopia, right, or
Right.
euphoria,
Yeah.
it's what
You
that
make it,
individual
yeah.
makes it, right?
Right.
So my euphoria is when I meditate, when I do
Yeah.
yoga, and this coming from a nigga from the west side of Atlanta.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a lot of the homies that I know from back in the day, some of them look at me side-eye and be like, yo, like, the fuck is up with this thing? Like,
Right,
talking
right,
about
right.
yoga and meditation, like, I don't want to hear that shit.
Right.
Right.
But a lot of the homies I grew up with, a lot of my partners, I'm here for a reason.
Right.
And they're not.
Right.
And, you know,
You survived.
I'm surviving.
Surviving.
Yeah.
But you survive
Trying
like
to
the
live.
younger youth, when people
Yeah.
sell drugs and do crime, like the 18 to like the 30, I'm saying you survived that part. Because
Yeah,
right
I
now
did.
you have the knowledge.
Yeah, I went through my
You went through that
trials. I
part
went
and you
through my
survived that.
trials, yeah.
So now you're surviving.
Yeah, I went
Just
through
living
my
life.
trials and
Yes.
I was like, okay, or God or my ancestors, the
Right.
creator was like, yeah,
Right.
okay, you're not gonna do it our way. All right.
Right.
Then of course you have to experience life. And
Right.
we about to let you experience.
Right.
So again, that's what makes y'all think this can't be. By the word, I understand why the people won't let it be a perfect world.
Okay.
All right, but is it really so hard to only follow 2 commandments that was broke down out of hundreds?
And what's
It
the 2
was the
commandments
2.
you want us to follow?
Even if you don't follow the first of serving God,
Okay.
the one true God.
Okay.
All right, and nothing else before Him. I mean, you don't serve your
Most
job.
people know, most people do that.
No, most people don't, because you got people who
You said serve him.
listen to what I'm saying. Your job can be a God and you not know. This phone can be a God and you not know it.
I'm
Because-
done with you.
no.
I'm done with you, John.
No, listen.
I'm just done.
You have people.
I'm just done. I'm
Listen,
just done. I just
listen.
don't know.
How many people in this world say, "Man, I'll be lost without my phone"? How many people really listen?
Oh,
if
so
you
you're
leave
using a
your phone,
metaphor. Okay, a metaphor like this is their God.
Yeah, but
They're
see,
gonna
that's what I'm
salute
saying. You
that.
don't even know it
Right.
because you can't go nowhere without it.
Okay.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? It's just like
Gotcha.
the person who always. I'm talking about the person who really go to the gun range.
Okay.
Got that favorite gun.
Uh-huh.
Will not leave home without it.
Oh, that's like my brother.
You ain't got these people getting caught in the airport for no reason. Their mind has already been trained. Listen, you know you going to the airport.
Right.
Your mind have told you hey, I need to leave this gun at home. But your mind click back and like, boy, this my baby. I just got to. Just automatically, it's second nature.
Right,
it's like putting on your drawer.
Right.
When you put your drawers on, his or her gun is right there. It automatically click, and you walk right through the airport. You don't even know that you have conditioned yourself.
Right.
You got to have this gun. You know, it's like the person who say, I got to hit this blunt every day. I got to.
Right.
It ain't one to say, man, you know what, I'm thinking I might smoke today. No, he wake up saying, I got to.
Right.
This your God.
We all
Right.
have those,
I get it.
those vices, Q. Your vice is working out, right? You go
Riding your
get
bike.
up every morning and say, hey, man, I got to go to the gym today.
True.
Some
I
people
do say that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's your vice. That's their vice.
Right.
Whether we deem it good or bad,
It's theirs.
it's theirs. They have to live.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Though. I want people to understand the training that we have conditioned our minds
Right.
to, that we have made something our God.
Just
Right.
like we were trained and conditioned when we were youngins coming up. I remember as a youngin, Mount Ephraim Baptist Church. I didn't want to go to church. My mom made me go to church.
Right.
It was
Right.
either go to church or you gonna get your ass whooped.
Right,
Right.
right.
One of the two,
True.
right? Went to church. I liked it. Started doing Bible study at a young age. Bible study class. And that word you use,
Training the child.
No.
condition.
Oh, condition.
Condition.
Yes.
I think like this, man. If you train a child up when they get to a certain age, and it goes back to how much freedom should you give your child, right?
Right.
If you give them the freedom to be individuals and not say, okay, well, you know, this is a totalitarian state. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but you know where I'm going.
Right.
Right.
Either this is my household, you're going to do what I say,
See.
or you can get on up out
Right.
right? Already right then, you pretty much subliminally condition that child to say, you know what, I can't even think for myself right now.
True.
And kids are much smarter and they're very direct. Kids are very direct, right? They're some of the most honest beings on this planet.
Right.
They not gonna sugarcoat it. They gonna give you the real deal.
But
Kids and drunks.
But
Kids and what?
Drunks.
kids and drunks will give you an honest answer.
Inebriated,
Yeah.
they gonna give you the uncensored version.
That is true. But understand this here. Again, I still got to train this child because it's a child.
Right.
It may be honest to a certain degree, but it can't do everything.
No.
Because if I really told the child to do everything, then get your ass out here and pay these bills.
Well, I mean
Where's your barber shop?
that's it.
Where's your barber shop
It's over
located
in
at?
MLK, out the corner of MLK and Loud.
10 more
I say
minutes, Joe.
Ashby, but you know, it's Loud.
I just wanted to give your shop a shout out.
Yeah,
10 more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Want people to get their hair cut there.
Okay.
You know?
Right, right. But I want people to understand this. With the comment you just made, because we still going through a situation up in Michigan with the Crumbly family.
Okay.
The young guy who
Shot up the school.
shot up the school. Now remember, his parents went and bought this gun.
Right.
You know, here we go. This here it go for you.
Okay.
This
I
just
got
show you
something
how
to do with
smart
it.
kids ain't.
Go ahead.
Now, even though an adult will do the same thing, but nobody expects this from a child. So how did the child? Because where is this mentality
Coming from.
coming from?
You want to know where it's
I
coming
know where it came from. It came from his parents. It showed that.
I don't
It
think
showed.
No, it could be the internet.
It can come from his parents, and also you got to remember now, never, because I have a teenager. Right? All these video games, violent
Right.
video games that they're putting out. What is that?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Like, man, listen,
Addictive they are.
those video games and kids, man, that shit is like a crack
Crack,
addiction.
right.
Man, that shit is like meth. Like they and when you playing those games, because
How did he get the game though?
their parents bought it.
Oh, okay then.
Or they could have got it through some other means. Right?
But I'm speaking of this particular situation.
Gotcha.
How
We
did
don't
he
know
get
if
the
he
gun?
wasn't playing those games.
Hold on,
That's the right thing.
even if he
His
was
parents.
playing the game.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, how did he get this gun?
Oh, his parents.
Okay then. Who also made sure that they showed they was giving him the gun?
The parents.
Okay.
It's still going to lead back to the parents no matter what.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
So therefore,
Slight.
here we are again. Ain't no child should have that much freedom, because that's what we all was speaking on.
Right.
You have to know how much freedom to give a child.
True.
It's like us being back in the project days. Parents knew
Yeah.
if they smoke marijuana, we can't have you around this. Why? Because you will get a contact.
Yeah.
How did the parents already know that? Because some of their friends got a contact and never smoked marijuana a day in their
Right.
life. So you know what it's going to be. And not only that, they know the other thing that's going to happen. You eventually is going to want to smoke the stick. So, and on there for to make sure that even if y'all smelt it from buildings away, y'all didn't know who it was. All y'all know it was is a distinctive smell.
Yes.
And until somebody told y'all it was marijuana, you didn't even know it was marijuana. Unless one of the other kids had known, say, "No, man, you know that's Miss such and such, or that's Miss such and such, or that's such and such. Them on the corner, they got that." But other than that, you really didn't know. And so here we are again, back to even I'm going back to the Garden of Eden. Until somebody opens up that Pandora box,
Right.
you really only know pretty much. Most children really only gonna know the good.
Right.
You're not gonna know evil till somebody open up that box.
So let me ask you a question. Whether they parents and you just made a comment saying, "Hey man, that if they don't see the parents doing, especially growing up where we come from, right? If we didn't see it in the household, all we had to do was walk out our front door.
Right.
That's true.
It may have been the dude right there that we maybe idolized or looked up to, or used to be like, yo, I think he's a cool dude. Saw him do it. Because honestly, I saw my mom drinking from an early age.
Mm-hmm.
Never
Me too.
wanted to drink, but when I started hanging around cats that was older than me, they made me want to have a drink.
Right.
That's
You know
a
what I
good
mean?
point.
So sometimes it can come from the parents, it can come from the household. But hey man, outside is waiting
Right,
on
because that's
Yeah.
how DMX, I think,
Outside
got
is
hooked on
waiting on
drugs.
Right.
The person he
A good
idolized
friend of
introduced him
his.
to the
Right.
drugs.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying again though.
Mhm.
Here it is. Let's just say I do see my parents dealing drugs.
Yeah.
Like my kids knew when I was hustling. They didn't even know what hustling was.
Yeah.
But they knew it because I taught them. I trained them. But my son, who he fiending for it now. I see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you who I saw it in the eyes first. It really came from his older sister. See, I didn't really tell her till she got older. But that's why I stayed so firm on her. Because if he ever had got a centimeter of a whiff that she could do it in a way, and I may not have seen or heard or maybe never even suspected her,
Yeah.
he would have took flight.
He would've took flight.
But he would have took a bolder flight.
Yeah.
So I knew. I'm just saying, seriously.
Yeah, I know it's something I can kind of agree on that. Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
I had to stay with the pressure. Their mamas didn't understand it. It doesn't make their mothers oxymorons or nothing because they didn't understand it. They was just real mothers. They were the nurturers.
Yeah, they never.
And even when I explained it to them, they couldn't get it. They couldn't grasp. They thought they was kidding. The only reason the mothers even got wind when I kept really throwing it in their face and like, hey, you need to see what you think your child is.
It's
Your
not.
child ain't that.
Yeah.
I know for sure. Once they got 17, really when they hit that 17, 18, their mother head, it was almost like their head exploded. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe what the child was saying. They couldn't even believe what the child would do or think of doing. But I trained them, and they knew the number one thing I can say my 2 kids knew. I have 3. But them first 2, what they really knew, it was going to be real consequences.
Yeah.
And I had showed them what the consequences were.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you think you really ready
For that consequence.
this is what you're going to have to pay. And I dare it's going to be this time 10. Now, I already got you at a 10. And they're like, well, shit, if it's going to feel almost 10 or 100 times worse than this,
I don't do
I
it.
don't want it.
and that's why, right now, I can honestly say, I do. I have 3 lovely children.
Yeah, they back up.
Well, today was a good show.
Well,
And we had a lovely guest.
true indeed. And, you know, if any of y'all guys need haircuts, come through. See Tone at Pro Cuts ATL. And we're about to be out of here. And,
Watch us on Global Vision TV, powered by Status Network.
and we're out.
Watch us on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere, all platforms.
True indeed.
Opinion
Truth.
and substance. Only thing that can ensure we're real and